Hi there, my name's Chandra. I am the content writer with Market Apartments, and this is Danny.
Hello. I do the social media here.
Yeah, so Danny's our social media manager, so she knows all when it comes to social media, especially for apartments. And
Everything.
what?
I know everything.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
exactly. Well, more than most of us. So we were chatting and talking about Facebook ads because that's a bit of a newer approach with our clients. And Danny was telling me that it's been pretty successful. Like I think there's a bit of a learning curve, but it's been a pretty cool approach and not something that I had really thought of as something that would be that useful to do, I guess, initially. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about it today. So Danny, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about like why we decided to start doing Facebook ads for our clients, what the process was kind of like, and a little bit about how it was going.
Sure. Yeah. So what happened was, we were doing social media because obviously that's one of the packages that we offer. But one of our clients was like, "Hey, do you do Facebook ads?" And we're like, "We do now." Like it wasn't even on our radar, but when they asked us about it, like, of course we want to help them out. So we're like, we'll figure it out then. And like I had taken classes from Frank Kern, like about Facebook ads, and I took a Udemy course from Joshua George. He's from ClickSlice. He's got some great stuff on there, but I took one of his classes too. So I kind of sort of knew a little bit. I'd kind of dabbled in it like myself, like for like my own stuff type of a thing. But we hadn't done that for apartments. So I was like, okay, what's going to be different because we're running them for clients and like we got to reach our audience, obviously. So it's like, since I do social media, there's a few things that I have already that I can test out. So yeah, so we had to figure out how to get me onto their ads manager so I could handle that for them because it's different and yeah, but it took a little bit to get going. But once they were really good. They were very patient with us. They got us everything we needed. It's very easy process working with them. So once we got it
Mhm.
figured out, then it was like, okay, we'll just repeat this with the next one. It was just like, yeah. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it worked out better than I thought it was going to, even just at first. Like, um, not that I didn't think it was gonna go poorly because,
Yeah, well,
obviously
it's
you
a
want to do
new
the best you can, but
right, right, but it's like a
but
new thing. I mean, we've done,
yeah,
I think, like obviously, like you do ads on Google, or maybe posts that you'll
right.
post in general, but like
Yeah,
to actually plan out to do Facebook ads, I just don't know that that's ever been as much of a priority in apartments. Like
right.
I mean, I've seen Facebook ads. I know lots of other companies that do it, but like this, I think was just um, a new approach that we
Hmm.
hadn't really done before. We focused a lot on social media or like on SEO and other approaches of getting in front of people.
Yes.
Um, but I don't know. I mean, it's cool to be able to access this whole other like algorithm or whatever and actually
Yeah.
reach people. Um, so I don't know. So you said that like once you got on there, it was pretty easy. Did you have like, did we start with just the one client? How exactly did it, I don't know.
Yeah.
How does it go when you get that kind of like set up, get it going? How do you know that it was working?
Okay, yeah. So um we did have just the one client when we started out because they were the only one who asked us about it. We hadn't marketed ourselves for this, obviously. So we just had the one client when I started out, and it was actually really nice because then I could test out all the different things to see what works and what doesn't. And yeah, so I knew it was working because I had watched these other um experts, these Facebook marketing experts, and they were like, this is kind of where you want your cost per click to be. This is where you want your analytics to be. Like, how many people view the ad versus how many people click on it. And like, so
Hmm.
this is the range you want to be in. So it was actually really surprising, like right out the gate. We were at least average, which is not bad for starting out, but we grew from there. And so that was really awesome.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, it's great that you have something kind of like a jump off point. Obviously, with
Yeah.
these, I guess there's analytics like anything. I feel like all of these platforms, we always forget how many analytics that they
Oh, for sure.
like actually track like an offer. And so what you can follow and see what's actually working. So it's good to kind of know which numbers are like most important in
Right.
these kind of circumstances.
Hmm.
So you said you saw a change like right away with their,
With
like
their,
with the people who ended up on their website, or like
oh
you said
yeah.
it was like effective right away.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, they were getting a lot more clicks to their website, and they were getting a lot more views on their Facebook page, and they got more likes from that too, which wasn't something I had expected to happen, but it was kind of a cool little side
Hmm.
effect of running
Hmm.
ads. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it started right away for them, and it was great too. We actually worked really, really closely on the first graphic together because I was like, this is kind of what I want to put up there. And he's like, well, can I make a few tweaks? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we tweaked it. He's like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I was like, great. So that's the first ad that we put up. We worked on it together. It was really easy, really simple to get started.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it was cool.
Okay. Okay. So what are some of the like results or effects you've seen from running Facebook ads? You said that like it brought more people to their
Yeah.
website, more people to the Facebook page, that sort of thing. But like compared to what? I don't know, like what are
So
the kind of numbers? You say you got all the analytics. What were you seeing?
we ran ads for them for a 6 month period. And over that 6 months, they got 4,096 clicks to their website from Facebook ads. And their average cost per click was about 27 cents. That's not bad. So, like, out of all the people that saw it, they only had to pay 27 cents for one person to click over. And so, if you kind of see how many click over versus how many people schedule a tour or send in an application, then you can kind of get a sense for how much it costs to acquire a renter. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the metrics to be aware of, obviously, if you want to run ads. One of the cool things we saw though was they got 63 clicks in one day. And then so that we got another client, we ran ads for 5 months for them. And since we kind of knew what we were doing by then, they got better results overall. So they
Mm.
got 7,703 clicks over that five
Oh,
month span. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a big jump. Because what the other was like 4,000 something, right?
Yes. Yeah. So like
Mhm.
knowing what works really helped out. And a lot of it too was like testing to figure out what was going to work, what renters wanted to see. And it was actually surprising to see they actually wanted to see the floor plans.
Mhm.
So that was one of the things that we learned. So that's one of the things we started out with our clients since then. So yeah, for the second client, their average cost per click, we got that down to 13 cents. And
Oh,
then yeah, and then in one single day they got 116 clicks.
oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, it
You can
was pretty
definitely see how
cool.
it grows. Well, and it's interesting too, because I guess just from working with, we have clients from kind of all over.
Yeah,
It might vary
yeah.
depending on like the client and the location and what renters in that area might be looking for. So like what worked in our case, like might
Hmm.
not be the thing that works for other people, but just knowing that ads can work if you
Yes.
kind of unlock the the right thing. And you tried quite a few, right? Like different
Yes. Oh yeah.
formats, different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I started out with the one that we had workshopped together, but then I added in a few different variations because you always want to test because some ads work better than others, some graphics work better, some copy works better, and like buttons too. So you can switch out the buttons if you want to.
So
But
like what it says
yeah,
on the button.
yeah, so like learn more or schedule or, and
Right.
it's they're pre-filled buttons, but
Mhm.
what you pick might influence someone to click it rather than
Yeah,
not.
yeah. Just another
So
little bit about the copywriting,
yeah,
even if you have a drop down.
yeah,
No, that's good. That's great.
yeah.
Um, I think that's really good to know. Just that, I don't know, I think people are a little intimidated sometimes by the idea of like testing a bunch of things
Oh
because it
yeah,
feels like it's going to take forever. But I
yeah,
do think one thing to know about marketing is that it's the long game,
yes,
Like there, you might be able to do some fun launch or some fun thing that you're offering that is a very short like period and get some sort of spike, just like viral content on
Yeah,
the internet. You can
yeah,
get something that happens really quick. But like to have the kind of sustainability you're looking for, it is kind of a long game.
yep,
So, you talked about working with these clients for 5 months and 6 months, and maybe that took a little bit of time, but that's only like half a year, and you've made a major impact. So I think that's pretty cool. Um, when it comes to like getting started with Facebook ads, like, I don't know, for me, I've never gone back in like to actually set up an ad. I've seen things where I've created a post on a social media platform and it'll ask if I want to boost it,
yep.
but I've never set something up to specifically be an ad. So like
Right.
what what's that like? Why is that? I don't know. Is it different?
It is, yeah. So there's two ways that you can make an ad basically in Facebook, and the one is boosting, and then the other is you set up your ads manager. And so like boosting a post is very simple. You just put in your payment information and they give you some of the analytics in Meta. So, but it's just some of the analytics. So you can't do as much, you can't see as much of like how much it impacted. And so you definitely want to set up your ads manager because you can, it's just different overall. So I'm going to go through how to set it up first. So what you do is you have to make sure that you have your business account set up, and then you have to go into your business account under ads, and then you have to create the ads manager. This is if it hasn't been set up already. Um, but yeah, once you've created the ads manager, you can get in there, you put in your payment information, and then the way that you set up ads is different as well. So you have campaigns, and that's going to be the overall, like, basically there's campaigns, and then you have ad sets underneath the campaigns, and then you have ads underneath the ad sets. So like the campaign that I would set up is I would do like an amenities campaign essentially. And then underneath that, I would do like specific types of graphics or specific types of copy. And then the individual ads would go underneath that ad sets. So that's how you can set it up. It's easier than you would think. And we actually do have, it sounds complicated, especially because Meta can be complicated. But we do actually have our Facebook ads kit that goes through step by step. It can help you set that up. And it's free. Anyone can go grab that if they want to. So
Okay, well,
we will have that linked below.
yeah, for sure. Because yeah, I know you're going over that and like, I mean, I can kind of picture what you're saying in my head. Like it's kind
Right.
of like a tiered
Yes.
system.
Yeah.
I definitely get that. Um, but obviously since I haven't used it before, all of that's going to be new when you actually
Right.
see it or see how it's laid out. So
Yeah.
definitely grab the kit if this is something you're interested in. I'm sure we'll refer back to it again because
Yeah.
it's a little easier than just explaining it quickly over a video, and it's nice for you to have a
Right.
reference. Definitely
Yeah.
check that out. So if you've got all of that set up, you've got your business account, you've got your little ads manager set up, and you can start running ads, like is there something you have, like, how do you know it's going to the right people? Like, do you have to like put in specific parameters? Um, or like demographic, like, do you choose at all how it gets shown to people, or is that completely automated? Like, do you
That's
have
a
to put in
good
like
question.
keywords, or is it just like Facebook knows based on the like copy or the words you actually put in there?
That's a good question. So basically, Facebook Facebook's algorithm can target people by themselves. They're really good at it actually. And there are different schools of thought on this because some people mention you should just let the Facebook algorithm do it. Some people are like, no, you want to put in your demographics. So the thing is with apartments, we are in like the housing market. So we do have to mark that as a special category. So there's limited things that we can do to target these people because
Mhm.
you can't target specific like ages or genders at that point. So, but you can target interests, or you can target like places they visited, like apartments.com or apartment guide or things like that. You can do
Mhm.
that. So, but what we've seen specifically is that Facebook is actually really good at picking out the kind of people who are going to take the type of action that you want them to take. So for
Mhm.
instance, when you go create your campaign, you can tell it, I want traffic, or I want awareness, or I want profile visits. And then Facebook can actually match that intent up with the people who have taken that action in the past. So we just let the algorithm do it because they're really good at doing it themselves. So
Well, that's good to know. I
yeah.
guess it will simplify things a lot for
Oh
anyone looking to
yeah,
set up Facebook ads on their own.
for sure.
I mean, as you know, some of you watching may be able to tell, like Danny's got a lot of experience with this. And I think in part too, because she does so much of the other social media things. So like it's similar formats,
Hmm.
which definitely makes it easier. And it's nice if you've got that kind of experience. But if you're just starting and trying to figure it out, it can be a little complicated,
Yeah,
but it sounds like Facebook has a lot of things that, kind of help you get going,
yeah.
which is
Yep.
great. Um, but are there any other things you'd recommend for people to do to get in front of like the right people or to make sure that their ads work? Um, because I mean, at this
Yes.
point, I'm picturing most of these ads, are they structured just like posts?
Yeah, for the most part, they're structured like a post, and then at the bottom they have a button, so that's extra. But yeah, for the most part, they look like posts because they're kind of trying to do the thing that Google does with the ads, where they're trying to make them look more natural and
Mm-hmm.
less like an ad
Uh-huh.
because people don't like clicking on ads. They don't like
Right.
ads.
Right.
So yeah, they do look more natural. There are things that people can do to get seen. Like you did ask me about keywords before. I forgot to touch on that. You can put keywords in your copy, so the caption basically, and that can also tell Facebook, hey, I'm looking for people who are searching for apartments in this area. So if you put like apartments in Denver or apartments in Boise or in Salt Lake, you can tell it
Mhm.
like, I want to look for people in this area specifically. Or like for instance, in St. George, there's actually a lot of people outside of St. George that moved to St. George. So we wouldn't actually target that location, but we can tell the Facebook algorithm that these are apartments in St. George, so we're going to use that as a keyword, and then Facebook will target people who are looking for that keyword specifically.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Well, and I'm wondering, does that work the same for, if you mention like other things in the area or like apartments near this state park or apartments near like I don't know if people look for that. I guess
That's
I'm always like curious about those kind of things when I'm like looking for an apartment, but I don't know if I don't know. I'm just curious uh, about that. Like, are there other things you make sure are included in keywords?
I actually haven't tested that, so I can't tell you if that works or not.
Well,
But that's a good
interesting.
question.
Great. I
Yeah,
guess I'll have to test it out. Or
yeah,
you can let us know in the comments what you think.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so you've talked a lot about like testing
yeah,
out the graphics, the text,
yeah.
and like seeing what works best for you. Um, I don't know, do you have any other like tips or how many maybe you should set up initially? Like if you're setting stuff up and you're gonna test for a property for the very first time and see what's working, like do you have a ballpark range of how many would be like good to start with? Because
Yeah,
obviously it's not one.
right, yeah. So when I go and I set up for a property, specifically, I will do 4 at a time. And so we actually recommend that they have a budget of about 250 or more because we've just seen that work better because then the algorithm can test and target and figure out where the people are specifically.
Mhm.
So that's what we recommend. And so based on that, I will create 4 different ads to start with. And the first 2 are ads that I know have worked for our clients in the past. So we will do like the floor plans as the graphic. And
Mhm.
I have a specific graphic that I created that I know works because I've tested
Mhm.
it. And then I will test the amenities one because I know that one works too. But then I'll go and I will try 2 different ones just to see what happens there. And if we don't see a lot of traction with those, we will just turn them off because obviously we want the money going to the ones that are working.
Right.
So yeah, so I will test 4 at first, and then with our clients, I test 4 ads a month. And we just keep seeing what's working, what isn't working. Sometimes we turn on old ads too, the ones
Mm,
that weren't working as well, because sometimes they will work better when we turn them on. For some reason, there's like a week they didn't work well, but then the next week they worked really well, actually. Like
mm.
I've actually seen one of them made a comeback like that and actually became one of my best running ads. So so you got to keep testing the old ads
Mm.
too, just to make sure that you're getting the best results essentially.
Right, right. Well, I
So
think that's interesting because, I mean, with a lot of the things we do in marketing, so much is seasonal in a way.
yeah,
Like everything fluctuates. And for anyone watching this who's in apartments, like, you know, like you have kind of like the movie season, you know, people are renting more in certain times of the year
yeah.
and not at others. And so I think that it makes sense to me that those things might have an impact, you know, or a holiday
Oh, for
or,
sure.
you know, definitely worth keeping those things in mind and testing
Yes.
and revisiting. And if it works, maybe you get to use it long term. But
Hmm.
yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, especially
Um,
around Christmas. It's really hard to run, not to run ads, but to get um what's the word?
like
It's very,
views.
yes, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It is hard to get more views and more clicks during Christmas because a lot more people are running ads and people just
Mhm.
get so sick of seeing the ads, so they just, they just try to scroll right by the
Right.
ads. So it is
Well, there's
harder.
so much competition.
Yes, exactly. And so if you're doing it a specific way, like if you're doing like the auction type or like the bids, you if you don't have the budget to keep up with the big name brands, you're not going to get seen. So yeah, around Christmas, it's really difficult to run ads. You can still do it, but just be aware of that if you are going to run ads.
Okay. And then just because I mean, I'm not sure. So, when you're looking at these posts, you're setting them up, the button on there, you usually link that back to just like a specific page on the website. I mean, I'm thinking of it like a lot of the things that I do for, you know, for other like web pages or emails or
Right.
things like that. It's a similar structure, but, is that like how it works? You always just go straight back to the website? You
Yep.
keep track of that? Like, or is there a way to see it after it leaves the ad?
So yes, I send them to the website, and if you set up the pixel, you can actually see what people are doing on the website when they click over. And so it takes a bit of time to set that up because that part can be a little confusing. So basically, it's like the pixel, but then you have to go into Meta and you have to set up the events. So then it will tell you what people are doing. So you have to create, yeah, well, Facebook will create the meta tag for that, but then you go and put it in the header of the website. And then you have to go and set up the events. So you click on all the buttons. That part's like, it can be kind of fun because it like pops up where people will click most likely. And then you just go in and you say, this is this type of an event. Yeah, so you can see what people are doing when they click over. And then you can kind of get a feel for, um, is this ad helping to convert once they get to the page? Or how's the
Mm-hmm.
page converting? What,
Mm-hmm.
like, are they immediately going to schedule a tour or
Mm-hmm.
going to the apply now button?
Or
So
leaving
yeah,
the page.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you said it's called Pixel.
Mhm. Yep.
Is it something that just comes with the ads manager or?
Nope, that's something you have to set up separately, and you have to set it up in the business account or the business settings side. But then once you're in Ads Manager, you just tell when you're in the ad, editing the ad, you just tell it that this is the pixel ID. So then it will keep track of that for you.
Okay. So it'll tell you wherever they go next, basically. So they click the link to your website
Hmm.
and then Pixel kind of tracks that and sees what they do next.
What they click on, yeah. And then
Okay.
you can retarget from there too. If they took a specific action or just left your page, you can be like, hey, I want to retarget these people.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
So like you can tell like the ads manager, you want it to go right back to the people who are already there? Or
Okay,
is
I'm
it like,
actually not sure specifically how that works, but I do know people do that with the Pixel, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like I actually haven't run that kind of campaign myself, but I've listened to like other people who have done it. So like
Mm-hmm.
Frank Kern does that, or like a lot of digital marketers will actually do that, where they have it set up. So it's like if this action is taken, retarget them with this ad. I don't actually know how they set that up. So I
Mm.
probably should research that.
Maybe that's the next phase of
Yeah.
evolution with our Facebook ads is us learning
Yeah.
how to retarget everyone. I mean, Facebook might do that anyway. I mean, there's so many times that you
Oh
see an
yeah.
ad that ends up coming back
Right.
often because you paid attention to it, you know?
Yes, that kind of thing they can and will do. But like the retargeting ads are a little bit more specific too. So it's like, oh, you left our page, or did you forget this in your cart? Or, ads like
Hmm.
that
Yeah, yeah.
specifically.
Hmm.
So
No, that's
yeah.
super interesting. That's a part of it I didn't know about at all. Like Pixel. I didn't know you could track it once it got to your website, unless you obviously have like your own tools, for tracking
Yeah.
that. But like
Yeah.
that's really helpful because I think, especially as someone who writes website content, that would be an important component for me to know if they're like clicking and then they're immediately leaving, or if they're
Right.
clicking but they're going to a different page. Well,
Right.
that shows which pages are the most important and what's important to them. So not only does that influence how you set up your ads later, maybe clicking direct, like setting the link to go directly to that page they want anyway, but
Yeah.
it helps whoever else
Yeah.
is working on the website know which pages are performing the best, which ones people are most interested in, so you can pay
Hmm.
attention to that. So I mean, that's just really good information all around.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, that was a great overview. A lot of that was really informative. I definitely learned a lot. If you're interested in this kind of thing, or maybe you were a little bit confused because we did cover a lot pretty quickly. Luckily, as we mentioned before, we do have a Facebook ads kit that goes a little bit more in depth, or at least provides some kind of step-by-step instructions. And that is something that you can get. Danny, do you want to tell us just a little more about what's in the Facebook ads
Yeah.
kit? Just as we finish up.
Yeah, sure. So the reason this became a thing, like the reason we created this was because we had clients who would ask us about Facebook ads, but then they wouldn't sign up to be our clients. And so I was like, well, why can't we help them anyway, So yeah, I put together step-by-step instructions on like how to set up the business account if you don't have one already, how to set that up, and then it goes into how to set up your ads manager, and it is like step-by-step instructions. It also talks about how to set up your campaigns, your ad sets, your ads specifically. And it talks a little bit about like how to read your analytics and what's good, what can you work on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We do talk a little bit, we give some advice on how to create your captions, and then also on what graphics we've seen do really well. But the cool thing is we actually have templates on both of those for you. So I went and I created, I want to say around 30 different templates for Facebook ads. And you can take those and you just like, you follow the button over to Canva because it's all posted in Canva, but you can put your brand information in there. You just go swap out the colors, the fonts, put your name, your logo in there. So they're very easy to use. And we also have templates for the captions. And they are kind of set up so that when you put in your information, it should kind of sort of create those keywords that we were talking about before. So yeah, we've got all of that done for you. There's about 3 different captions. And so there's like a general one, a general caption, I should say. One that kind of deals a little bit more with the amenities,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's one that has like a testimonial, like you have a testimonial in there. But yeah, so we've got all of that put together for people, and it's really simple, easy to use. You can always ask me questions if you need to. You can drop comments here or on social media. You can find like
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
market departments, and I can just answer that for you if you have questions, or email us, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we've got all that set up so that people can just hit the ground running essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's great. That is a lot of content.
Yeah.
Um, Especially for free. So really don't miss out on your chance on getting that. Honestly, if Facebook ads is at all something you've thought of trying for your apartment community. And yeah, thanks, Danny. I mean, I know
Yeah.
we always meet together to chat about the things, but thanks for covering so much
Yeah.
with this one, especially because I don't know much about it either. So that was really informative.
Yeah, thank you. We're always happy to help. That's what we're here for. So,
Right. Exactly. So anyway, like we said, grab your free Facebook ads kit. If you do have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.